Man Show. We're joined by a friend of the show, the coach of the North Texas Mean Green. We saw him earlier this year. He played Georgia Tech over there at the Pavilion and almost gave him a good game there. Made him sweat a little bit. Coach Grant McCasland on the Bossman Show. Coach Mac, man, I know you're happy winning that CBI title, man. It's a good way to end the year, right?
It is, man. It's great to be back. Good to see you and talk to you again. Yeah, man, we had a good finish. It's proven to be a springboard to some great seasons. You don't have to look further than Loyola and Nevada, who won it 2 of the last 3 years before we did. You know, both those teams ended up in the Sweet 16, and Loyola obviously going to the Final Four. So we're hoping we can kind of get the same return on it that those teams did, and it was a great experience.
I hate that, Coach, and I want to ask you, Coach. I know some schools decide not to play without the NIT or the NCAA. So what went into the decision you and your AD decided to, hey, let's go into CBI and keep playing here?
You know, great question. The biggest thing is we need to all our roster's really young. You know, we started 2 sophomores, a freshman, and 2 juniors. So for us to get that experience, and throughout the year, we basically started, 4 sophomores, 3 sophomores, 2 freshmen. We had a really young team. And to get postseason experience for us was a huge value and allowed us to be able to continue to coach them and to have the experience of playing in some meaningful games in March. That was the overlying theme in our conversations, was just let's keep playing in some games that matter and to teach our team how to win in postseason.
Now, Coach, I want to go back to the conference tournament for real quick with you. How cool is it to actually play in the Star, being a Cowboy fan? How cool is that to actually have the guys set up those 2 courts and play in there, man?
I'm telling you what, I think everybody was a bit apprehensive just because the venue had a basketball game yet. The Star being right in the heart of Frisco, and what Jerry's done in developing that area, honestly, is remarkable. I mean, it's like the hotels, the shops, the whole atmosphere there for a tournament is really unique. And then it had an NCAA tournament feel, to be honest. I mean, it because they're the temporary bleachers, but it was in the middle of a football field, and all those NCAA tournament games, when you get to the regional rounds, are all in football stadiums. And so it really had a unique feel. And then on top of that, everybody knows that the Cowboys don't do anything unless it's first class. So between the locker rooms and the whole area and the whole atmosphere beyond just basketball it doesn't get better from an athletic atmosphere. So it was everybody loved it, and we're excited because we get it back here next year again, and I think it'll even be better because they'll work some of the kinks out to make it one of the best college tournament environments in the country.
Now, Coach, I was thinking, because since you guys are right there in North Texas, right there in Denton, that you might maybe play a game in there yourselves, non-conference maybe lure a big school in there to play you in there. Something cool.
Man, that's a great – hey, you thinking like I was thinking. We've asked that question, but because it's during football season, the Cowboys won't allow anything. Since March, we're all in conference play, February and March. Those are the only times. They won't let you play in there until after the Super Bowl. So, because they need that facility, because, the Cowboys are planning on playing in the Super Bowl, so they got to have a practice venue to use up until that date. So that's the hardest thing, is there's not a time frame that would allow us to do it. We could play there in February, but at that point we're all in conference play and nobody has open dates.
Yeah, I got you on that, Coach. Now, also, Coach, I thought it was cool the way it was looked on TV. You know, I was just amazed at it. You know, I've seen your Georgia Dome be opened up for basketball, or seen the Final Four open up, but seeing it like how two courts go at the same time, kind of like I said, it kind of reminds you of the NCAA tournament. Kind of reminds you of AAU ball to a degree. We have all those courts going at the same time. Probably the energy and the fans that kind of gave you guys a little bit more energy to play because it's a buzz and there was like no other probably getting college basketball.
Yeah, it was. It was a blend. You know, it was unique because of the simultaneous games. It gave it another feel, like you were, like you were playing in a tournament where there were multiple games going on. It was unique. I never even seen it before at our level. But there was some concern about whistles. You know, you could hear the other team's bands on the other court, the horns. Like, literally, there was not one situation where you could hear, you knew there was some white noise going on the other side, but never was there a time where there was confusion in regards to the whistle. So it turned out to be a fun atmosphere to have four different teams playing all at the same time. And nobody ever had their men and their women playing at the same time, so you didn't ever feel like you were getting pulled in multiple directions. If you were, a fan of North Texas and wanted to watch the games because they were all at different times. So it turned out to be quite a unique feel for the game.
And speaking of this, how was cool is to play the same team three times in a row? You know, you had two of your plays after you play out of San Francisco. And is that a format you want to see maybe in pre-conference tournament games or other tournaments, not the NCAA tournament, that have this best two out of three for the championship game? I think it's kind of cool to kind of get that feel to play a series against a team and see how adjustments you can make. And kind of test you all as a coach as well, see how you can change up some calls here, change up a strategy here to get over the hump and win these games.
Yeah, I mean, that was I think for the first time in my career as a coach, I finally got to, understand what it's like to, for an NBA staff to have the adjustments. I mean, everybody plays the same team maybe in conference play twice, and you may play them close to each other. And then the third time you may play them in a conference tournament. So it's not like that's something completely unique to our level. And there's even a chance you could play a team four times if you faced them in the NCAA tournament. So it's not, but to have it back to back to back like that, that was fun. Because there wasn't enough time to actually practice. There was only enough time to maybe make a few adjustments. And to fly across the country, it did give it a pro feel. I mean, like you were in the NBA to some degree, and you were playing in a playoff series. And for our fans to be a part of it, I think that was the most fun because they got to see, a unique format of basketball, and like that you don't get a chance to see at our level. And it was fun. I mean, we made some adjustments I felt like were key to us winning. And as a staff, I can't say enough great things about our crew because it just seemed like we were timely in the way we made the adjustments, and definitely a unique experience and made for a fun basketball strategy opportunity.
Now, Coach, did you all change calls or kind of use some dummy calls? I know the Hawks tend to use the Hawks, like I told you, played Miami tonight again after playing them last night. So the Hawks used dummy calls last night and will change the calls again tonight, so they might think it's a call, was really something else tonight. So did you all kind of use that, kind of use the audible, almost throw them off a little bit? They think, oh, we know this is going to be a down screen, blah blah blah, but then you really something else because you changed the whole call from having a day off.
Yeah, what we did was we predetermined a few of the plays that we knew we would use at the end of the game, and we did give them different calls. And over the course of the game, we had some plays that we already had calls for that we just used hand signals for, so we didn't ever call it out, and we just we had a series of plays that we used during the game that were hand signals that were different than the calls that we had used all year, and then we had sets at the end of the game that we did change the call on. So that was a fun adjustment we were a part of.
Now, Coach, I know this is probably helping you in recruiting right now because you can say, hey, we want a CBI. We can end the year on a win. So I'm thinking guys now want to come, play for you now more because seeing you guys actually win, you can tout you won a tournament, and you're building something here. I know you want to make the big dance, but you made an impact. So how you feel on the recruiting trail right now, knowing that you're going out with a win, and our guys kind of responding more to you and your staff now, saying, "Hey, Coach, I want to come now. I see what you guys are doing down there and building something real nice."
Yeah, well, that was that probably is definitely a part of it. But the fact that we had those games on ESPN and we were able to tell guys that we were recruiting, there were only at that point in the season there were only 8 teams left playing. There were the Final Four teams, and the NIT championship was done on Thursday night. And then the CIT, my good friend Jeff Linder, the head coach at Northern Colorado, beat UIC on Friday night, and we'd actually scrimmaged them early in the year. And so what you were able to do for us was it was a dead period, so it wasn't like you could have anybody on campus officially, but we were able to tell everybody, watch us play. And our environment, we had over 6,000 people at the game, and for them to be able to see that and see how we play and to have that captive audience, really, we were the only basketball game for college on ESPN that night. So that part of it was a huge advantage for us. And then the other part was, just validating what recruits are seeing. We've had the best turnaround on KenPom, which is a statistical way to analyze games, back-to-back years now from what our staff did the previous season in addition to this year. I think we've moved up like 220 spots when you combine both years. And the next closest was like 92. So, we have 130, place jump out of 351 teams above anybody in the country combined over the last 2 years. So everybody knows, that we're able to do this and it's only going to get better. And that definitely has been a huge advantage for us recruiting-wise moving forward, that, we're going to win championships. We've been able to do it in our first year, make big turnarounds, and there's even more opportunity for guys to improve and get better here, by coming to North Texas.
Now, Coach, I think top to bottom, the conference has pretty much improved. We got a lot of new coaches in the conference, a lot of new blood, but you want to be one of the best next year, Coach. In year 2, you'll be a vet. All the changes you got in your conference right now, but I feel like from top to bottom, you guys have gotten better, which is going to help you guys hopefully get more bids in the tournament than just one bid, because unfortunately Middle Tennessee got left out. But I feel like it's quality basketball in your conference. It should be more than a one bid league.
Well, every year our leagues won a game in the NCAA tournament, and we've had the lower seed in the last 4 years. So, you go back and you talk about Middle Tennessee obviously winning a game the last 2 years, UAB 4 years ago, and then this year Marshall winning a game in the NCAA tournament obviously proves, and Western Kentucky made it to the NIT, made it to New York, one at USC, one at Oklahoma State. There's definitely an excitement. Last year, the RPI and KenPom ranking of our conference was like 21 in the country. This year, we're the 10th best team, 10th best conference in the country, out of 31. So definitely some huge improvements. We've got some new coaches in the league that will do a fantastic job. I just think the best days are ahead for our league.
Probably one I got for you, Coach, this. Now, I love watching the women's game because of the rules and the flow of the game for us, the 10-minute quarters, the timeouts, and the advancing the ball. So, there's going to come a point in time where D1 will finally move to 4 quarters and advancing the ball and making it a little bit better, making like more synchronize the game with every other good way basketball is played around the world.
I know there's an overall feel of college basketball that this makes us unique to have two halves, play 20 minutes and all that. But it's inevitable, man. I hope it's sooner than later. I may be in the minority on this as of right now, but I just think it's a huge advantage for all these young guys just to be consistent, because every international professional league they're going to play in, and then from high school, the 4 quarters, which we need to get a shot clock in the state of Texas in high school, even if you put more time on it and allow them to have more time per possession, like we used to have 35 seconds, and then, it moves down to 30 when you get to our level, and then 24 when you move up to the next level. But I'm a huge advocate for it. I agree with you. I mean, we need to be consistent across the board, and regardless of the ability, it makes our game unique. I think it also doesn't benefit it, and definitely doesn't outweigh the uniqueness, doesn't outweigh the benefit of being consistent. And I'm with you, though. I hope that change happens soon. It's not on the docket for this year, I do know that, but it definitely looks like it's on the horizon.
Coach Mack, I'll tell you what, man. It's good having the show, man. I'm looking forward to finding out later this month when the Dallas Cowboys will be in Atlanta, man. I'm looking forward to that schedule coming out. I hope it's early.
Bossman, I know you are, man.
I can't wait, Coach. That's my coach. It's the only game of the year I'll risk getting fired because I wear my Cowboy gear, not my Falcon gear to work.
Hey, that is risky business. That is risky business, but it's worth it, man, because when you're a Cowboy, you're for life.
Coach, I'm going to tell you how bad. Last year, I wore my Cowboy polo, and I said, I should wear the Falcon Radio Network polo. I said, look, I'm doing this today. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Well, I work for you all. I'm really a Cowboy fan, so they're here today, so I'm just going to do my job, but still cheer for them. But they clown me because the Cowboys got beat that day, because that's the game Chance Green gave up 5 sacks. They say clown me for it, but it was worth to get clowned. My team was in town, and I enjoyed it.
Hey, controversy don't hurt nobody.
You got that right, Coach. You got that right. Hey, man, thanks as always, Coach. I'll talk to you real soon, buddy.
Thanks for having me on.
All your photo, video, and voiceover needs, check out the fine folks at Blueberry Productions. They will take good care of you. If you don't believe me, you can see for yourself. Check out their work at blueberryproductions.tv, a Facebook page, Blueberry Productions, also a Vimeo page, a YouTube page, and it's Blueberry, BLUBERRY, Prod on Twitter. Check them out today. Blueberry Productions, great people, great work, great service.
We're back on the Bossman Show. Time for this year's last top 3 with Tyndall college basketball recap of the championship game. And I must announce, Coach, you won the regular season title and you won the tournament title as well, Coach. You went 7-3 in tournament play. I went 6-4, and John, of course, doing what John does, he went 3-7, Coach. So I'll allow you to talk about your win this year in the regular season and in the tournament play, Coach. I'm going to let you get your gloat on, Coach, so go right ahead. Feel free, brother.
Well, when you listen to those rankings, it probably stacks up like this. Logan's or Texas Roadhouse on you for me, and then John, you owe me Ruth Chris, brother.
Logan's is good, Coach. I can do Logan's.
Sounds good, man. Sounds great.
So, Coach, it's always fun as always, Coach. I feel good that I came right one game below you because, you're a former coach. You're a very smart man. So, me to be right behind you, I'll take some solos in that. But John, being that horrible in the cellar, he should be fired for life.
No doubt. That word cellar, or the cellar dweller term, will be with John for a lot of years down the road. It's going to be hard for him to overcome that, boss man.
You got that right, Coach. And, Coach, I watched the game a lot. I watched for some key things here, Coach, and I'll let you talk about it here shortly here. I feel like Michigan came out with so much energy, Coach. They gassed out. I feel like they was just so amped up. They were so ready to play Villanova, but so much energy to stopping those guys. I feel like guys who can shoot three-pointers. And they gassed out midway in that first half, and the game changed there. And not to mention what Dante Chino did. But just I feel like those guys came out with so much energy, and they can kind of they get gassed out. They ain't give themselves enough pace to get through the whole game. They just kind of came out there and boom, it was over for them.
Well, I think it's so hard to pace yourself in a game like that. Obviously, all you hear from your staff and the entire 2 days building up to the game is you got to play every dribble as hard as you've ever played in your life, and you really do to give yourself a chance to win. And I think that Michigan came out, and the biggest thing, the big kid Wagner, however you say his last name, inside, really impacted that game. Not just in the post, but he hit a three, and he was really, really involved. And I think as the game wore on and Villanova made some defensive adjustments and limited his touches a little bit, the rest of those guys didn't step up like maybe they had in prior games. And give Villanova credit. Jay Wright and his staff do a great job of making adjustments. The one thing I've said spending a couple years in the NBA now is you can tell Villanova has a huge NBA influence in their style of play. And, Jay Wright's been rumored for years to be a possible NBA coaching candidate. And I'm telling you, of all the college teams you see play, Villanova plays more offensively like an NBA team than anybody else. The spacing, the angles of their ball screening, the different things that they do with dribble handoffs and getting guys to really space the floor. Now, it helps when you've got four guys that can all make threes, and sometimes they have five guys on the floor that can make threes. But their spacing is fantastic, and those kids are tough. They were resilient. The game didn't start the way they wanted it to, and yet they kept clawing and scrapping and eventually took the game over. And you're right, the DiCinzio kid, or however you say his last name, off the bench, he was a superstar. I mean, I told people he looked like a young Rex Chapman in that game.
Now, Coach, I got to say, like you said, he brings him off the bench. Like, he really could start, but he brought the energy that they needed. They came out kind of flat. Michigan was throwing their best punch at him, like we said, and then Dante DiVincenzo comes in there and just goes off. And, for 6 men to get most outstanding player of a championship game is amazing and awesome.
Well, it is. I mean, for a guy to have 30-plus points off the bench is incredible, and to do it in that setting, that was a career high for that young guy. So he stepped up. But, the thing that Jay Wright and really Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley, all those guys had said in the 48 hours leading up to the game is they had 7 guys in that lineup that were capable of getting 20-plus points. And in that particular game, it was DiCinzio's night, and he stepped up and played with a lot of swag. I mean, he was stepping up and shooting that ball like he made shots like that all season long. He was fearless. And give him credit defensively, too. Now, he made a couple spectacular blocks and ran down a play from behind and ended up blocking it against the backboard, which was a phenomenal play. So he did it at both ends of the floor. But Jalen Brunson did not get MVP of the tournament because he was in foul trouble in that final. But anytime you've got a point guard that controls the game like he does, that certainly helps you as well. And I thought Jalen Brunson played like a 10-year NBA veteran in the tournament.
They remind me of Steve Nash, their guards coach, because they drive down to the lane, they come back out of the lane, they drive in, they dribble back out. So it reminds me how Steve Nash used to play that Mike D'Antoni system out there in Phoenix.
It does, and in the NBA they call that midget, when you drive in the lane and you keep your dribble alive and you kind of circle back out, maybe reverse dribble, attack again. They call that midget, and there's certain ways that you defend that based on your rotations of whatever team you happen to be coaching. But you're right. Jalen Brunson uses that midget move or the midget dribble, whatever you want to call it, to his advantage. Every time he drives the ball in, he doesn't force things. He waits until the very last second and then makes a great decision, whether it's to score it, get a guy on an up and under move, or deliver a dime for a layup. So he's a pro. He's a pro's pro, in my opinion, a guy that you can tell his dad, having been an NBA vet for many years, has taught him the ropes. I'm sure he eats right. He takes care of his body. You can tell he's in amazing condition, and I know he's just a junior, but I'll be shocked if he doesn't declare for the NBA draft in the next day or two.
And what's good fun about Villanova is that they don't get the kids that are one-and-done kids. They get guys you have to develop. Player development is really big for Jay Wright and his staff, and he looks for guys who he can keep his program building a foundation. So talk about how Jay Wright recruits Villanova, knowing that you can't really get one-and-dones to go there.
Well, I think he's had a couple guys over the years that have been, one and done or two and done. So it's not like he never has a guy that's fit that bill, but you can tell the nucleus of each and every team is his returning players. And he really does a great job, along with obviously his staff, of developing guys. And, that's such a underrated characteristic, or underrated part of a program. Everyone wants to know if a guy can X and O. Everyone wants to know if a guy can recruit. But, at the NBA level, and this is another example of Villanova's system, at the NBA level, 99% of everything you talk about is player development. And I think Villanova does as good a job or better than anyone in the country in developing guys and bringing them along to guys that early in their career were maybe 8th, 9th, 10th man, and by the time they're graduating, they're all conference-type players with a chance to play in the NBA. So, again, give Jay Wright and his staff credit, not just for being great coaches, not just having a great system with spacing and tempo, but being a great program that develops their players and makes sure they improve each and every year.
And, Coach, speaking of player development, Coach, I feel like you've had a good hand in the Raptors players up there. Their bench is playing well. So how many of those guys last year was on the Raptors 905, as you said, Dwayne Casey now using in the rotation on the big team now, that you and Stack had down there with the 905 team?
Well, we had Fred VanVleet, who's having a great year as their backup point guard. We have had the Siakam kid, who's a second-year pro, played a lot with us last year, and he's in their rotation, playing mostly at the power forward spot. We had the big kid from Utah with us some last year as well. And I might be missing one other, but, 3 or 4 of those guys that are in the Raptors' top 9 or 10 this year were with us and did a great job. And I tell you what, each and every one of those kids, and you'll understand why they have the role they have after I tell you this, were unbelievable kids as teammates, were great practice players, guys that would absorb the scouting report and ask questions. They were into it. And I think when you see that from a pro, especially a young pro, it tells you how hungry they are, how driven they are to have success. And all those guys, you could tell, once they eventually got their chance and their opportunity to play, would be successful because they were like sponges. If you wanted to watch a little extra tape with Fred VanVleet, he'd be there. If you wanted to watch some extra tape or get some post moves in with Siakam, he would be there. So those guys are workers, and their mentality is that of being a pro, and I think you can see that in their play this year.
Yeah, and I think it's because I watched them because of you. I watched the Raptors more than I would because of you. You used to coach with the G League team, and I see those guys development. And I was like, hey, wow, Coach had right on his nose there. Those guys in there playing well because the Raptors can really play 11 guys. And I know it's coached that teams are staggering their minutes to kind of have their starters play against the bench now with Toronto, which is funny that teams actually they're playing so well that the other teams are actually having staggering minutes to try to match their bench play because it's so strong this year.
Yeah, that's been an interesting trend to follow because you're right. Their bench play has had such an advantage when you look at the statistics against the opponent's bench the last 30, 40 games of the season. So you're right. Teams are trying to tweak their rotation and their lineups a little bit, where some of their starters are now playing against the bench players. But I think anytime teams are having to adjust to what we're doing or what the Raptors are doing, then that's a positive thing for us. And I know this, Fred VanVleet's the type of kid, it doesn't matter if he's playing against the 11th, 12th man in an exhibition game, or he's playing against James Harden or Chris Paul or what Russell Westbrook in the last 3 minutes of an NBA playoff game. He's going to play the same way regardless. That's who Fred is, and I think that's the mentality he brings every single night. And you can see it because he's a big, big part of their success this season and their plans moving forward.
And, Coach, are you one of the proponent of high school players going to the G League rather than going to college? Because I know I saw a kid is going to do it, and I've seen the G League help guys out and help them develop, like Damian Jones with the Warriors. I mean, he was nowhere where he is now. He wasn't playing in Santa Cruz with the Warriors this year. And I figure it helps young guys in the league and young guys coming up as free agents as well who don't get drafted. So would you be a proponent of college kids going from high school to the G League rather than going to play college basketball, or are you wanting us to kind of go there for a year and just get that experience, then try to see if they can make it in the NBA G League or the NBA as well?
Well, having been in the college game for so long, JR, I'm a huge proponent of guys going to college, because I think that anytime you can step foot on a college campus and go to class in a college environment and travel and do the things that are all part of playing on a college basketball team, those educational experiences are invaluable. Even if it's just for a year or two, it's still a year or two more than maybe a lot of kids would get. Now, if a kid just hates school and wants no part of a classroom setting, then I think the G League is obviously a great opportunity for a guy to learn and grow and develop. But what you got to understand as an 18-year-old kid going into that element or in that environment, there are some grown men in that league trying to feed their family. So it's a lot different having to beat out a 26, 27-year-old guy that's been in Europe, that was in the NBA for a year, bounced around. Now he's trying to get called back up, and he's going to try to whip your tail every single day. And he's a man's man. He's a grown man, as they would say. Now in college, the coach is going to have more patience. You're not going to be playing against a 26, 28, 30-year-old man. You're going to have more room to make mistakes, and it's not going to be quite as important because at 18 and as a freshman, the coach knows you're going to have some growing pains. But when you're in the NBA or the NBA G League, there's not a lot of tolerance for mistakes or using youth or inexperience as an out. You got to produce. That's the bottom line. So I think if a kid has a chance to go to college, even if it's for a year or two, he should do that, unless they just are dead set on not wanting to go to school. But I don't think there's a whole lot of guys out there that are of that mindset. So I think college would be the best thing, but certainly there's been some guys use the D League and now G League as a great stepping stone.
So, Coach, this has been our last show of the year, Coach. I want to ask you, what's going to be your off-season plans now since college basketball is over, the Raptor season is winding down before the playoffs? So what is your off-season going to entail, Coach? Is it going to clinics or, hosting your own camps and clinics and spending time with your girls? What you got going, man?
Well, a little bit of all that. I'm going to enjoy the NBA playoffs. Hopefully the Raptors can make a deep run, and I will definitely spend some time with my girls and hang out with them and watch some of my youngest. Gracie's got some AAU stuff this spring, which I'll get a chance to see some of that, and continue to work on this diet. I've lost about 40 pounds in the last 6 months, so I'm doing well on that, trying to maintain that. And just kind of see what's out there. This for college basketball, for me, it has to be junior college or NAI, but there's going to be some openings that I may have an interest in. And if not, then we'll just kind of see what NBA Summer League looks like and go from there.
Well, Coach, I would hope you would look at that Southwest Tennessee job down there in Memphis. It's only a 5-hour drive from Atlanta. It's open now. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I had a great time this year with you and John. You guys are great, man. We always laugh and cut up, and I know John can't make it tonight, but you just tell him I've got his cell, he's got mine, and I'm looking forward to that 18-ounce ribeye from Ruth Chris and a glass of Riesling wine to go with it too, brother.
Coach, I will let him know that because he is the son of John. Coach, have a great offseason, Coach. We'll talk to you again real soon. Of course, we got each other's numbers. We'll definitely be in contact. But look, we'll have you on the show again next season, Coach.
Sounds great, buddy. Thanks for having me. Take care.
You too, Coach.
Hip-hop fans, I got a great album for you. The debut album from Family Grind ENT, True Speech and 313 Fresh. We're going to give you 2 discs, 33 songs of pure, genuine hip-hop. Album is available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, illstreetrex.com, and streaming live right now on Rhapsody, Beats Music, Spotify, Xbox Music, Slacker Radio, and SoundCloud. Check them out today. True Speech and 313 Fresh. Family Grind ENT. Believe in it. Get it. Time for 3-man week with my man JT Smith down there in Memphis, Tennessee. The home of Memphis Grizzlies, who are in the tankathon with the Atlanta Hawks, bro. What is good, man?
What's going on, man? You know, just up here in the M-Town chilling, man. You know how we do it.
No doubt, bro. I must say, the Atlanta Hawks front office has the Memphis Grizzlies games on TV like no other because the Hawks have made mistakes by beating Phoenix and Orlando. Now needing the Grizzlies to lose 2 games, they can get the second highest odds for the draft lottery, bro. It's so crazy watching this tankathon. So talk to me. How do people in Memphis feel about the Grizzlies getting a good draft pick? What's going on with that, man? How's the vibe about it down there, man?
Well, you know, the vibe here in the city, you know, at first, you know, we had high hopes when the season started, thinking that this core of players that we had with Conley, Gasol, and whatever Chandler Parsons could give us, you know, we were thinking that would be enough to, you know, keep us in the playoffs for a 8th consecutive year. But, you know, we all know what happened. You know, Conley's injury that they had him out all year. Chandler, Parsons, like he's just a shell of his former self, and Gasol, you know, it's pretty much the only one that was able to hold it down for most of the season. And so, you know, at first, you know, when the Grizz were losing, everybody was upset. But after a while, you know, after you lose 19 games in a row, you know, everybody pretty much got on board with, you know, team tank. And it's crazy, like you said, you know, that normally this time of year we would be watching other teams to see, you know, what seeding that we were going to be in, you know, 6th, 7th, or 8th seed in the Western Conference. We were watching other teams as far as we were competing with as far as playoff seeds go. But now, like you said, you know, we're watching the Phoenix Suns, we're watching the Atlanta Hawks, you know what I'm saying, hoping that they win. And we're mad now. Anytime that we win games here now late, you know, the whole town is upset because, you know, we want the most ping pong balls. You know, we want the best chance to land, you know, a top 3 pick. And you know, so at this point, you know, we're ready to get the season over with. We're ready to just lose the rest of the way out. And let's have a big draft party like we used to back in the day. And hopefully we end up with a top 3 pick.
Yeah, bro, like, I point to the game against Phoenix, where Torrey first hit that 3 at the buzzer. Orlando on Sunday. The Utah Jazz game, Dan Schroeder scored 41 points. He ain't played since. 3 games I could point. That's in the past month where the Hawks screwed up by winning. Where you win, where you lose by winning, and it's not good, man. And Travis Slink, our GM, turn so red, and I own a Tony Wrestler does when we win games. It's hilarious watching it.
Yeah, it's sad, but it's hilarious at the same time, man. Like, we just called up Marshawn Brooks, the former Brooklyn Nets pick, a few years ago. We signed him on a 10-day deal, and he balled out the first game last week, and we won the game, and so people were mad about this guy, a 10-day contract guy balling out. Well, I mean, you can't blame him. He's trying to get a long-term contract. But we were upset. We're like, hey, man, why you guys bring this guy up? Can you buy somebody else over, for a 10-day contract? Like, we didn't expect him to do that. And so he was benched, like, a portion of the next game after that, man. So it's really hilarious. But it's sad to think that, this is the state that we're at, where we're just trying our best to lose now. But that's the state of the NBA, man.
This what it is. The Hawks were up by 11 against Miami the other night. And Coach Bud went to this lineup. Check this out. DeAndre Bembry, Isaiah Taylor, Miles Plumlee, Mike Muscala, and John Collins, with Dwayne Dedman, Taurean Prince on the bench and over there chilling. But he went with that lineup, and the Hawks magically lost the game to Miami after going to that 3 big and 2 guard lineup.
Man,
it's hilarious.
You gotta love it, though, man. Everybody's trying to improve their odds right now.
Is Bickerstaff safe, or is he just playing the string for the next coaches coming in?
Yeah, at this point, it really sucks for him because, Bickerstaff is a good guy. He just walked in on a bad situation. Never thought that after, only a year and a half, Fizdale would be out. And, he had to take over on an interim basis. But I think, though, this situation now is really going to mess him up as far as his job opportunities anywhere else. I don't think he'll ever be a head coach anywhere else now because of this situation. It's not fair to him, and the Grizz, of course, not going to bring him back next year. So he's just basically a lame duck interim coach right now that will probably be a career assistant, as far as his career going forward.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate how that's going right now. And what's crazy to me is that Robert Griffin III got a job, and over Colin Kaepernick. And
right,
I hate to say this, but could it be that RG3 is a black Republican with a Caucasian wife? Is that why he got a job?
I think it's something to it. I think it's something to it. It really is, because that should be Kaepernick's job. And we all know last year the situation, where the Ravens were thinking about signing them and failed to pull the trigger on it or whatever. But yeah, I think it's safe to say, RG3 is the safest possible way to go as far as adding the backup. And, I don't know how much value he adds to you on the field now, but, of course they're going to sign RG3 over a Kaepernick any day.
Yeah, you got that right. And also the Lions signed Matt Castle. Please tell me how does Matt Castle mimic what Stafford does in Detroit?
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. It really is. Matt Castle, who, somehow, some way won, 10 games, 11 games for the Patriots?
11 games.
Way back in the day? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, man. So, it's ridiculous, man. How all these guys, all these bums are getting jobs, and Kaepernick can't even get a tryout.
And Manziel's getting closer to getting a job. He's on his media tour with Dan Patrick or different shows, kind of show he's rehabilitated, going to play in the spring league, and Colin Kaepernick can't get a job. And come on, MLK 50 is going on in Memphis.
Right.
It's the same thing Dr. King was talking about in 1968 is happening in 2013. We got racism, all this economic equality, the white privileges, by just being that color, you get certain things. Or if you're a black person who disenfranchises with the black community and shows that they don't stand with the same mindset that most blacks think, they will reward you for that. So the same things he talked about in the 68 is happening in 2018. But JC, what I have to say is always that, hey, if I know my mother was in that, and our mothers were in that same age bracket when he was living, So those same people are maybe still living as well, and their kids are living who share that same mindset. So our hope is that our kids' kids can be better for them, even though we will not be able to see it for us.
No doubt. No doubt. Like you said, MLK 50 going on this week here in the city, man. So, like I said, where are we 50 years later? Have we made progress? Are things getting better for us as a people, us as a culture? And I don't know. It's really hard to say. And really, the next 25, next 50 years after this, will we see any vast improvement? It seems like we're going backwards more so than anything.
You got that right, and it's just sad and unfortunate what we're seeing. But we did see something weird here at the New England Patriots traded away a star wide receiver, Brandon Cooks, to the Rams, who were going all in, bro. They trading picks out the wazoo, going all in. They got Aqib Talib, Sue now, Marcus Peters. Now you got Brandon Cooks. The Rams get L.A., bro. Like, you have to make a splash. You have to have some glitz
Exactly.
around, make them pay attention to you. The Chargers don't get it. They're just being bland. But the Rams are going for it, and the offense under Sean McVay and Jared Goff, I feel like, hey, these guys could be exciting, could be a force to reckon with out there in the AFC West, along with the 49ers, who are up and coming. I think that the Rams will way flips as their coordinator on defense. Sean McVay on offense. Those guys can compete with Philadelphia, Atlanta, the Saints, even the Vikings. And, I feel like the Rams are going to be scary team for years to come. And they all are young, too, with Donald and Super defense.
Yeah. The Rams are not playing around. They're putting the league on notice. They are in it to win it next year. They got the big stadium. It's getting ready to open up for the next year or two. So, and it's Hollywood, man. So, the Rams are definitely making a splash out there with all the additions. And that's going to be one crazy locker room, though. So as a young coach, so I'm going to be real intrigued to see how he handles all those personalities in the locker room, especially on that defense. With Aqib Talib, we know how he gets down. He'll snatch a chain right off your neck. Marcus Peters, he from Oakland, the Bay Area, so, and then Dominican Sue, we all know by his mood swings and his personality as well, man. So that's going to be a real interesting locker room coming up this season, man. I'm really excited to see how they put that all together and, how they deal with all that.
Yeah, man, it's going to be interesting, man. But you think the Wade Phillips being that kind of grandpa type of dude will, and him being a kind of a cuddly bear, warm guy, keep them still guys like Sue and Talib and Peters in line, because Talib's going to play well for him in Denver and not go crazy. Then he'll be able to help keep them guys in check there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about Wade being there as DC. And he's the defensive coordinator in Denver when Talib was there, so it's already that familiarity. And all the players from everywhere Wade's in, they seem like they love Wade. He's definitely a player's coach, So, like I said, having a guy like that, you're right, may, make things okay during that locker room. But, like I said, if they're not winning, if they're not winning, the team is struggling. Like, I can see that thing blowing up, man. But they got too much talent not to do it big this year and advance even further in the playoffs than what they did last year.
Yeah, we're still on Dez Bryant watch. Still no word on Dez Bryant's contract, but I just think it's not looking good. Each day passes, they kind of put that squeeze on him. The money is drying up faster and faster and faster.
Yeah, I think, like I said, at the end of the day, man, I really think Dez doesn't want to go anywhere else. And, he'll play hardball to the last minute. They'll play chicken between Dez and Stephen Jones, the front office there. But at the end of the day, man, I think he's going to take a pay cut. He has to at this point. Like I said, the Cowboys got him right where they want him.
Yeah, all the money's
they really
up.
do. It's all, like I said, the market's dried up. You're not going to get $16 million anywhere else. You're probably not going to get $10 million anywhere else, man. The Cowboys got him right where they want him to take the cut. And like I said, you put incentives in the deal that if he reaches, he can make close to what he would make normally. But you can't pay Dez $16 million anymore. I wouldn't even pay him. I'd be like, look, bro, I got 9.5 million for you this year. What's up? what you want to do?
Exactly.
You know, until it's over, you can put up those numbers that you did back in 2014. I got $9.5 million.
Now, do you feel like we're heading towards an Odell Beckham trade or the draft, or do you feel like this is going to be a end of the season divorce or a franchise tag game if they play with Odell? I feel like this is not going to go well for either side. He's going to be acting, he's going to be all in his feelings, all upset if he don't get what he wants.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be a drama that's going to play out for a while, man. If I'm the Giants, I'm not trading Odell. I'm not trading Odell. You need Odell. You're talking about one of the top 3 receivers in the league. You need that guy, man. And I definitely wouldn't try to trade him to a contender or nothing like that. And like I said, if somebody's going to make a trade for him, okay, I'm asking for everything. I want 2 first-round picks. I want a player, a couple of players. Because you expect a large haul for a guy like Odell, but his talent, and you consider the fact he's only, 23, 24 years old? I know he's coming off a serious injury last year, but, he's going to recover and bounce back full strength. Like, when he's at his best, can't nobody stop him. He's one of the best receivers in the league. So, and then the NFL itself it's a tough hustle as far as the contracts are concerned, man, because they can tie you up. Your rookie deal could be about 4 or 5 years, and then after that, they can franchise you for like 2 years. So you already like in your 6th year before you can really get out there and make big money, man. So, the way that the contracts are set up, man, it's crazy in NFL. And, hopefully they'll be able to change that when the new CBA rolls around in 2020. They can change the contract terms, man, because right now, like I said, especially for a running back more so, but Odell, he's in a tough spot. When you outperform your contract, your rookie contract, you've outperformed it by a mile, but, the team is going to play tough and stick to what your rookie contract dictates. So, it's a tough deal for Odell, man. But I don't see the Giants trading him, but I do see this drama being played out for the entire season, though.
Bruh, I got some stories for you to close out the segment today. Here we go. This is some stories I'm going to throw your mind off, bro. Here we go. We got this. Pregnant on the low, man. Get this. Florida woman thought her 37-week pregnancy was, quote, just some bad Chinese food.
Wow. I've heard a similar story like this before. And like I said, some people don't show, no belly or anything like that, but actually they feel the symptoms. But yeah, that's more believable than not, though. As far as some of these stories, just sound crazy, that one I can see happening.
I'm trying to figure out, how did she not, she said she just felt like she would eat Chinese food and make her sick. She said she only felt weird when she ate Chinese food, but this time the pain didn't go away. Yeah.
That was the baby. The baby said, I don't want no damn Chinese food.
Exactly. And this is another story. This is a famous Florida woman. Evelyn Lozada says she still trusts ex-head-butting husband Chad Johnson with her life.
You know what? I really do think that there was love there between those two. I really think they really had a connection there. And, with the headbutting thing and all that, Chad lost his mind or whatever. But like I said, I hate they didn't make it, man, because think about it. They would, in a few more years, they've been, a couple of reality shows. They would have been that celebrity it couple, and then I think also Chad's career taking a nosedive the way it did kind of affected him as well, So, but yeah, I can see her saying that because I really think they had a bond there, a connection.
You got that right. It's pay your bills. Future Miss Tony Birdman Braxton owes, get this, $780,000 in back taxes.
Ooh, bless her. Bless her. Tony stay in some financial trouble, man. I thought I had trouble with my finances, like Tony Braxton. This been going on for 20-some years with her.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was broke. She bankruptcy, IRS, Tony is living like regular people, like regular folks out here. Ain't no game with Tony Braxton, man. She ain't no celebrity status. I mean, she's a celebrity, but with her finances, man, she's like everybody else.
You got that right. And Terrell Owens shoots a shot with Iggy Azalea saying, quote, "She can burn my clothes."
One more thing about Tony. She ducking. She ducking bill collectors like we do. She got screening her cars.
1-800, oh, hell no. 1-888, hell no. 1-855, ignored. Block them quickly.
Exactly. She changing her voice. She doing everything, man.
Yeah, but T.O., I mean, why you want Iggy, though, bro? Why is he going for Iggy, man, since she can bring his clothes?
Iggy, yeah, she's not cute. She's highly overrated, man. Musically, looks, everything, man. I don't see what Nick Young saw in her.
I don't know either. I don't know.
Like,
And,
if you're trying to stay relevant, you know what I'm saying? You pick a better artist or actress or whatever. Why Iggy, man?
Exactly. And did you see this? On Instagram and Twitter? And maybe it's the pain meds, or maybe it's the Finney body lava. But Joel Embiid woke up from surgery and went straight to trying to tweet Ariana and get at her.
Grande?
No, Rihanna. Joel Embiid.
Oh, Rihanna. Okay.
Yeah, Joel Embiid wanted Rihanna. I mean, did he get shut down by her once?
Hey, man, Embiid said, hey, when you shoot your shot once and it gets rejected, man, you got to keep shooting. Now, see, me, I'm the type of guy, if I shoot my shot once, I ain't going to keep shooting it. But if you got money like that, you an NBA, you a star, I mean, yeah, I guess, but to me, it'd be too much. I got too much pride. You know what I'm saying? But I guess some cats would say, Embiid said he ain't too proud to beg,
I'm with you, bro. I'm going to shoot my shot one time.
One time.
I'm going to be honest with you. It's too much out here.
It really is.
To be stuck
it
out,
really
stuck
is.
on one. Like, look, I mean, and some people are like, man, nah, I'm not going back. I move forward. I believe in that story of Sodom and Gomorrah. When Lot's wife turned into a pillar of salt, you stuck in that. You stuck. What am I gonna go back for? I'm gonna keep on going, pushing forward, and keep on ahead. I'm not gonna go back. You had a chance. You blew it. I'm moving on.
Exactly.
I'm going that go route. We got two more for you, bro. Here we go, man. This story right here is Red Lobster has introduced this new crispy fried lobster and cheddar bay waffle meal that might ruin your day.
Now say what now?
They got a new crispy fried lobster and cheddar bay waffle meal that may ruin your day at Red Lobster.
That don't even sound digestible.
Exactly. It don't look good either.
I got pass in there, boss.
Yeah, and the last one I got for you is, bro. Florida woman gets charged with giving birth to her brother's baby.
I heard about this one. Hey, only in Florida, man. What else can you say, bro?
I feel that, bro. I feel you, bro. Well, look, before we go, man, what you got going? I know we're getting the April time. We're at the Aries. What you got going out over there at Clicks, a sports bar and billiards over there, man, on Malco, way down in here, man?
Oh, man, it's popping, man. Shout out to you, boss, man, for always, shouting us out, man, always hyping us up, at the spot, man. So I appreciate that. But, yeah, it's going down each and every Saturday night, man. You know what's happening at Clicks, the livest party spot in the city. Click Sports Bar and Billiards, man. So we do karaoke each and every Saturday. The Three Kings, the live karaoke crew in the city. So if you're in the city of Memphis this weekend, you're trying to find something to get into tonight, man, come on out to Clicks, man. And then the next day, Sunday, man, we got a karaoke brunch going down as well, man. So we got big things popping this weekend.
That's the Three Kings, folks. Trust Us Records. Boston JC 3-Man Weave. We are out.
And if you don't know, now you know, you know.